hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello everybody, welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty, this is episode 102, joined by John and Colin tonight. Colin, how's it going?
Good, mate. Aye, good. Just as I was saying before, I'm just trying to be healthy with my alcohol-free Sauvignon Blanc tonight.
Excellent. Well done. Good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it tasty?
It's all right. It's all right. I don't know. I suppose it tastes like wine, but it's no wine, so it's not got that same thing, eh?
I've got alcohol-free Sauvignon Brew.
Oh, aye.
Not quite the same.
It's a new thing.
Aye, Sauvignon Brew. John, how you doing?
Aye, I'm good. I've not got the calorie-friendly drinks. I've got a pint can of Tennent's and a whiskey to go with it.
Happy days.
Just
Big
one
tea
each.
chaser.
What's that?
But it's just one each.
Aye. I might.
It's a big whiskey though, eh?
It was when it started.
Right, well, we'll just get stuck right into the questions.
Let's go.
So, first question tonight, 150k or Handler House said, what's the most petty thing that you do for no apparent reason? He says, I use pink pegs to hang out my oldest laddie's clothes in the washing line.
What's he teaching his son there though? Like, is he teaching that pink's a girl's colour? Is that what he's...
Do you think his son's even noticed?
I don't know if it's anything to do with nothing like my house. Like, they didn't care where the washing line is, so...
Aye.
Are you on washing line duties as well as cooking duties? Like you do the... Aye.
Oh, aye.
You think
I
you're
get
washing it
involved
enough?
in that. I better watch what I'm saying. She listened last week.
You got into trouble.
Yeah, was that on last week? Did we record last week? It feels like it's been about a fortnight since I last spoke to you.
Aye. You were on. It was memorable, John, for
Obviously.
for everybody.
Oh no, wait,
So-
what was last week? There was
Room 101.
Do ghosts have bumholes?
Aye,
That
that rings a bell.
was one of the questions.
The thing you like, the thing that he sent in last week about the hatch, the dung hatch.
Oh, the dung hatch. That's right.
Anyway, what
Right,
petty
I'm
things
back
do you
up
do?
to speed.
Oh, petty things, aye. I'm not really a petty person.
I didn't believe that for a fucking second, by the way. Carol, when you do listen to this, you'll be shouting at me, you fucking lying bastard.
I can't think. The one thing I do is like, so bin night's Monday night. Tuesday morning, the bin men come, take the bins away and that. Neighbour, they'll just go out and bring their own bin in and won't bring mine in. So, and I used to bring both in. So right next door to each other. Fucking gates are next to each other, right? So just stop bringing their bin in. Is that petty? But it's for a reason. That doesn't answer the question because it has to be for a reason, eh?
For no apparent reason. I do, the kids take the dishes out of the room and put them at the top of the stairs. And I refuse point blank to take them down the stairs. They're like, I think fucking do it.
Aye.
That's petty. But
That's
like,
not petty. That's not petty.
they're not going to learn otherwise, eh?
I'd put it back in the room. That would be petty because I would do that.
Well, tempted to do that. We got plastic cutlery one time. Because we'll never get it back. Have that.
See, when we say petty, do we mean, are we saying like to try and inconvenience someone else, like through trivial means? Is that what we're getting at?
Aye, that sort of thing. That sort of thing.
What other ways petty mean? What else does petty mean? Like?
I tell you what we used to do when we worked at, the bank. There was a boy, we'd always have a newspaper, kind of like with the Metro. We'd sit with the Metro when we were having lunch, and sometimes he would ignore the conversation that was going on. And what I would try to do is, if he was distracted from his newspaper, I would try to subtly move it back a page and get him to read the same page again and see if he would notice. And sometimes he did, and sometimes he didn't.
You've just reminded me when it was years ago, and it's when at your work, like you had the big chunky monitors, and it was easier every time I would walk past this boy's desk, I'd just reach over and click the off button. I loved it. But no, sorry, to answer a question you asked before, Colin, what other way can petty mean? It doesn't seem particularly petty to hang up the laddie's boxers or whatever with
It's just a
pink
sort of
peg.
wind up, like a subtle
Aye.
wind up, eh?
So, that's what I'm getting at. Like, is that a wind up or is that petty?
Yeah. So, because my petty, I'm more petty by not bringing the bins in. That's more petty than putting pink pegs on clothes.
Aye.
So bin etiquette's a funny thing. Like my next door neighbour, I'm sure I've mentioned before, like I used to, because it would involve me walking an extra like 10, 15 yards, I would drop the dog shite in his bin because his bin is right outside my front door. And then he got the Ring doorbell introduced, and I thought, well, I better not do that anymore because he'll be sitting watching me there to try to find out which dick's, putting the dog shite in his bin. But he's also away sometimes for like weeks on end. Don't know where he is. And other there's no pattern to his schedule, like when he's going to be away, when he's going to come back. Sometimes you think he's going to be away for weeks and he turns up the following morning. So recently, like we've had the high winds and that, and his bin got knocked over and it was sort of lying outside my front door. What's the bin etiquette there? Do I pick it up and put it back, or do I just leave it?
I'd pick that up. I would. But what you need to do, John, to overcome the Ring doorbell, do you remember the film Speed? Where they weren't allowed to let anybody off the bus.
Attack your bomb, is that what you're saying?
Spoiler alert, right?
Aye.
Dennis Hopper, he's got a copy of the feed for the CCTV in the bus. And so he's like, you can't let anybody off or the bomb will go. So they take a photo and they put the photo of the bus over the CCTV camera. So that's what the person sees. So for your Ring doorbell, you just need to get a picture of your street from his doorbell's point of view, stick that over his doorbell, and then fill his bin up with as much dog shite as you want. And he'll never
That's
know.
true. Just as I'm coming up to the house, like a wee, I don't know, like a ruler with a picture in front of it, just slide in.
Aye.
It's a good idea. It's quite low tech. I'm all for it.
So there you go. Life hacks with Shortbangers. Mel Clement said, admittedly seen posted by another tweeter earlier this week, but we'd love to hear some discussion on what if stones are actually soft but go hard when we pick them up.
How would you ever know?
What is this stuff that the kids make? They make something with corn flour, that if you can punch it and it's hard, but if you touch it softly, it's soft. It has that. You hit it. I can't remember what it's called. Something that they make corn flour and water and something else, but you hit it and it's solid. But if you're gentle with it, it's pliable.
Is it no liquid when you're not touching it, but when you apply pressure, it becomes firm? Like I've seen that on Brainiac Science Abuse.
I'm sure it's made with corn flour. It's got a name.
I know it is. It is.
Yeah.
What if you stand on a stone? To come back to the actual question, would that not? Would they be saying it's going to get?
I think it would know. So the stone's going. Oh, here's a foot. Freeze.
So it's sort of sitting there wobbling. It's wobbling there on all soft until it sees something and goes, "This might stand on me, or it might pick me up. So I'll go hard now."
Aye.
So stones, are we saying, are like stress balls, but when humans come, they get a fright and go rigid?
Well, the thing is, if you throw a stone, it would break a window. So, you're not touching it as it's flying through the air.
That's right. So it should soften back up.
Aye. So it would either soften back up and bounce off the window, or if it's always hard, it goes straight through the window, which is what happens.
So are we saying that?
Here, John?
Are we saying that stones can't be soft until you pick them up? Because if you threw them at a window, it wouldn't break; it would just bounce off.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going with. But would it matter anyway if they were soft and then when you picked them up, you would just say they were hard, eh? If you only ever feel it with it, this is one, by the way, for if we ever get around to doing our philosophy episodes. Does it matter that it's not hard if the only time you ever encounter it is hard? Is it not just hard then all the time?
Well, I think it's this kind of critical thinking that led to the flat Earth theory.
What?
And that man didn't land on the moon.
Right.
It's all
Okay.
linked. Aye.
It is all linked, right?
See,
hell.
Colin gets it.
Neil McRae said, should I get frustrated or annoyed when my neighbours put non-recyclable materials in the recycling bin? My stairs share 6 bins, so they're all communal.
So has he got
frustrated or annoyed?
communal recycling bins and communal general waste?
Aye, so if they put general waste in the recycling one, is he right to feel annoyed about it?
Yeah, of course he is.
Things that do my head on it.
Aye, that's why it's a recycling bin. That means that whole recycling batch can't be recycled, can it? It's fucked.
Ruined.
It's just getting sent to overseas landfills anyway. Like the only inconvenience there is to your own sense of community spirit and environmentally friendly thinking.
Is that right? So what happens to recycling?
No.
Sometimes.
Back in the day, there was a thing about washing machines and that all getting sent to third world countries.
They
were
just
meant
at the
to be
skip.
recycled.
They'll just set up at the skip. The boys just keep them all aside, and they can take bits out and that and sell them on or something. That's what happens with them.
Okay, right. MJ plastering in Thailand. Is that an advert? Have we just done an advert for them?
How much are they paying for that?
Man. Why have I got mercier body parts than Merkinians? But that's a good question as well, by the way, because how does that happen? And when does it happen?
I read something in the last fortnight, and it suggested that there's maybe like a couple of videos that you've seen, or probably no, because I know that neither of you watch TikTok, but there's a few videos going about where it shows you an example. You get out of your bed when you're in your teens and early 20s, and you jump out of bed and you're ready to face the day and you're full of energy. When you're in your 30s, like you get up a wee bit slower. When you get into your 40s, like you get up and you fucking burst a cruciate ligament or something. And the thing that I read recently, it was saying that after a certain age, like you have to remember that throughout most of human history, like we all died young. And it's only been within the last 150 years maybe where we've started to have an increased life expectancy. So all these aches and pains that you're feeling, this article that I read suggested, is just nature saying to you, you should be dead already.
Sam Delaney said it on the Top Flight Time Machine, didn't he? Like a doctor said that to him. It's like 40 is when you should live till, but it's pretty much medical science and advances in like nutrition and stuff like that keeps you alive much longer than that. But
I was going to see if I thought we spoke about it in here before, but on that I heard that.
Aye. There's definitely a point where, like, do you mind when you just used to fucking be able to run? You wouldn't even think twice about it. Like
every day.
Aye. Like I would come round for you, Colin, and I'd run from my house round to your house, and then you get in, you wouldn't be fucked, and you wouldn't be like 3 days after it thinking, wish I hadn't fucking run. You just did it. You'd like run about everywhere. You just bomb about the place. Walk for fucking miles. We used to go cycles like fucking way down Gullen and all the rest of it for Portobello, and wouldn't think twice about it.
Can we put the whole best theme tune over the top of this?
This for the last of the summer wine or something.
And now, like, I think about exercise, I go, fuck, I'm out of breath. Like, come up the stairs and like, fuck, I wish I'd have done that. Thinking of getting one of the stair lifts.
I just said that recently to one of my daughter's football coaches because they're like, I don't want to play too often. Again, because we've talked about playing on a game on a Saturday and for a different team on a Sunday. And I'm going, fucking, I used to play 3 games a weekend when I was that age, or a wee bit older even. Like two half-hour each way games on a weekend, fuck all. Like when you're that age, now I'd be fucking. Now I couldn't manage the one. Like game of fives, nah. Is it rolling subs?
Can I go goals?
I'm too good at football to be in goals. But I mean, it's mad, eh? But he's obviously a tradesman as well, so he'll feel it even more. Crawling about. What's he plastering? Did you say Thailand? So he'll be climbing about baths and bathrooms and that. Plumbers are the other one, because they're down in the shite and under the flare boards and that. So they're the tradesmen. My old man was a mechanic. He was young when he gave that up and got another job because he's like, I'm too fucking old to be climbing about under cars and too fucking sore. You can't do it every day when you're 40 odds. You're like, fuck this, give me another job. So it's just your body's fucked.
Really? There you go. So if you're not 40, that's what you got to look forward to. Whiskey Craig says, if a bear shites in the woods and no one is around, does it make a smell? And would it look happy? I think it means the bear and no the shite. In terms of looking happy.
Is that a
Ken, what
Rangers,
I've
sorry?
often... Oh, sorry, Colin.
It could be.
No, it's just the look happy thing. I linked with Rangers and Bear, then that's what they call themselves, eh?
Oh, aye. Never thought that. Could be a wee reference to that.
Doesn't make any difference to the answer, I don't think. John, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that I've wondered often if there's like a mathematical equation that says how far from the source of a smell do you have to be before you can no longer smell it. So from the hypothetical bear shiting in the woods, at what point can you not smell it? Like at what point do you cross a threshold where you go, fuck, I'm sure a bear shit about here?
See, on that point,
Like
John,
there
right?
must be something.
On that point, similar thing, right? Similar question. Dogs meant to have an amazing sense of smell. Why do they have to get their nose right up to the shite to smell it?
Yeah.
I can smell it for a distance when my dog does it. Like I would, if his sense of smell was that good, he should be able to stand where I'm standing.
Somebody shit
It's a
over
good
there.
distance for it. I go, that's mine.
I don't know what the name of the program was, but do you remember there was the woman that was always testing the bouquet and she could like smell notes of this and hints of that? I think the dogs are connoisseurs of shite, and they're just getting all the.
It's like the boy sat in the kitchen.
Somebody. Aye.
Oh, Mickey. Aye, they're going. Aye, that's it. It's like the boy sat in the kitchen with the wine, eh? Kind of, they get the nose right into it.
Aye,
it smells of wine. It's got grapes in it. Like that was the. Did you ever see that clip? I think it was on this morning, but it wasn't the normal folk. Is it Alison Hammond? Is that right?
Aye.
Used to be a Big Brother. They were doing some drinks testing near Christmas time, and she got a drink here, and it was a glass of wine, and she went, I can't even do it straight faced because she drank it. She went, I'm getting like the flavour, like grapes. But she was deadly serious. She wasn't saying it as a joke. It was like it was Dermot O'Leary was on with her. I think it must be a Friday they did. I don't know if they still do. And the alcohol expert, they were like, she just fucking say that, like.
I bet you'd have told her before it, Ken, when they were saying, she was like, what should I say? It's grapes. Say it's grapes.
It must have been it must have been a setup.
Right, what were we saying? The bear shit, does it smell? Yes.
Aye, it's bound to smell.
aye.
Right, Dorley.
It doesn't smell like coconut.
Depends what it's been eating, surely.
Stop calling me shop.
Have you ever seen a packet of biscuits with bourbons and Garibaldis in the same packet? That's with Dorlisa.
No.
I'm going to say no to that one. I've seen bourbons, custard creams, and I can't remember what the third one. That one, nice biscuits. They sell them at Tesco.
Are you talking multi-pack?
Family Circle?
Sorry.
Aye, we spoke at the same time. They were in the delay, I think. But the ones you can get, like the multi-packs, the metal tin ones at Christmas, they might have a mixture in a minute. But it wouldn't be a packet, it would be in a set.
Aye. I've not seen a Garibaldi out with a packet of Garibaldis.
See, if your name was Garibaldi, would you change it?
What would you change it to?
Oh,
Gary Harry.
Changing
like,
name.
Can't believe you asked that, John. Fucking obvious.
Gary Mullet.
Gary Mullet. Next question. Whiskey Craig said, have you seen Groundhog Day with Bill Murray? And was this question asked last week?
I have seen that film.
What the hell? How many times have you seen it?
Once. No, it's one of the ones that seem like you see it gets repeated all the time.
Do you know the day that it's set? I can't remember what day of the year that Groundhog Day is set, but Sky Movies on that day they played it back to back all day, which I thought was fucking brilliant. Like whoever's sitting going, okay, what we should do. And what I like is that somebody went, fucking day it. Just put it on the same film. Just as soon as it finished, straight back on again all day on Groundhog Day. Great idea. Good film as well. We'll tell you how it finishes.
I can't
You've
remember.
not seen it. Right, Kermit the Pog said spag bol or lasagna.
To make or eat?
Eat,
Was it
I'm
asked?
guessing.
Eat lasagna.
John?
Lasagna. It's just a bit more substantial, isn't it?
It's the same thing, effectively. It's just it's more time consuming to do lasagna, because you've got to piss about with the white sauce and all that.
Aye.
I'd go lasagna. I can't eat spaghetti. I choke on spaghetti. Yeah, I've made that observation on here before.
I think,
So
aye, we know made the joke
lasagna's
that you need a wee bit, something a wee bit more substantial going down your neck.
Aye. Like what, John?
Tortellini.
Big Joe. I love lasagna, by the way. It's one of my favourite meals. Make a nice lasagna as well. Right, 97% cheese said, inspired by I Am Now Kenny, what music would you play while extracting semen from a bull to get the bull in the mood? So Niall's a farmer, so has to do such things.
What about the Bullseye theme tune? You remember that?
Aye,
No.
do you think that would...
How did it go?
I'll go and play it. I'll go and find it for you.
You're going to find it, excellent. Do you think that would get a bull in the mood, though? Bull's eyes probably not that. If it was called Bull's tits, that might be made erotic for a bull, but I'm not sure it would get turned on.
Aye, that would
I
work.
just meant that. That sounds like Benny Hill theme music for bulls.
It's got me in the mood. What were you, John? What music are you getting your bull in the mood to?
See, when you talked about bulls, I immediately started thinking about like the Spanish and the bull runs and whatnot, and so I thought maybe like a wee bit of flamenco music or something, or a bit of salsa.
Do you think that would get it angry rather than horny?
Angry, horny. It's a fine line.
Aye, that's what they say in Strictly, innit? When they're judging it and that.
Well, that was angry dancing, that was horny dancing.
Aye, well, that's like Paso Doble and all that. That's the angry one, This angry Spanish one, when they stamp their feet and all that. With the cape and stuff. That would be the one you're probably thinking of there.
Aye,
that's exactly what I was thinking. Thanks, Colin.
Okay.
No idea.
I think it'd be Marvin Gaye or something like that.
Oh, that's a shout.
I think a bill would be into that.
I could just hear it and just go, aye.
Let's get on.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, Freddie said, 4 questions from Freddie actually. Why does wet hair turn darker despite the fact the water is clear? So if you're listening to this, you'll not have seen the face that John just made there. As he went, okay.
There's obviously some science behind it. I don't know what the science is like, but
You ever look at yourself when you're getting out the shower, when you've got your wet look, where you've got your hairs all dark, and think, actually, you look not bad. Then you get out of the shower, you get dried off, and you go, fuck me, like, what happened?
Does your hair go darker then?
Mine?
The grey, aye. Does it go dark, like dark grey?
Wee bit.
No, noticeably.
Not much. It goes really white when you put shampoo in it, though. Like that. Brilliant white. Like, aye. You can put the bathroom light out and still have a bright room. The Human Torch. But bubbly.
So we're saying it doesn't actually always go darker then?
I think it does, but it's like even clothes when they're wet go darker, don't they? It's just like it absorbs. It's like an extra layer of stuff going into it, so I would think that's why it.
I know what it'll be. It'll be something to do with the way that light interacts with water. So your hair goes darker because it's it's either reflecting or absorbing more light than it would when it was dry.
All right, well, we'll go with that, John. Freddie's second question, and he's going to lose a point at this point here because he's spelt colour wrong, spelt it the American way.
Oh,
Which orange came first, the colour or the fruit?
I think the colour must have. Why am I saying that? The fruit was named after the colour, eh?
I would say so,
Like-
because otherwise, why would a banana be called a yellow?
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah. That's where my mind was going with.
What are you thinking, John?
Does the colour, see the colour of an orange, like a traditional big orange that you probably didn't get for the supermarket because it's a pain in the arse to peel. You maybe got them at half time when you're playing football or playing rugby or whatever. Does the colour of that orange's peel exist in nature?
What, something other than that orange?
Yeah, on something other than that orange.
Tangerine, kumquat, satsuma.
Anything that isn't a peely
Another
fruit.
orange. I think anything that isn't the sun at certain times of day, on certain
Aye.
days, has that sort of orange you looked at, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes the sky.
Like, did the naming of the fruit give rise to the naming of everything else that was orange or thereabouts?
I don't know.
We've been asked this
I would say
before.
the colour. I think we probably have. I would say the colour. I think the colour, and then the fruit was. Somebody was just like, fuck what we call it, and then they're just really unoriginal. Just call it after the fucking colour, the orange.
There are
Maybe they'll give me a
17
wee
million other fruits. Let's just fucking settle in with this one. It's orange.
Aye.
Aye,
I can't think that now.
aye. Just that'll do.
What colour's it?
Right, why is the Lone Ranger nicknamed Lone? Though he's constantly accompanied by his Indian friend Tonto.
Can we go back a second?
Yeah.
Why is orange juice not orange? Orange juice is more yellow.
That's because it's the juice and not the peel. So when you open up an orange, the
It
actual
smells
flesh of it is as orange as the peel.
Do any use like orange juice with the seeds, with the bits in it? Or do you prefer
Aye.
the smooth?
I don't
Aye,
mind
so they
either
are.
way. Either or.
I like the
I
pulp.
thought it was in the minority. I'm surprised it was unanimous.
Longbangers recommends orange juice with pulp.
That's another new advert, another new sponsor.
Orange juice. Just generic orange juice. With bits.
With bits in it.
Aye. You can do a wee survey. Just text in 80295 either bits or nae bits. Just those words, bits or nae bits. Text it to 80295 and we'll announce the results sometime. Right, why is the Lone Ranger nicknamed Lone, though he's constantly accompanied by his Indian friend Tonto?
I've no idea.
Maybe he didn't like him.
There was a joke.
But he wasn't his actual pal.
There was a joke that I got told years ago where I think Lone Ranger and Tonto were out in the plains somewhere, and then I think they look up and on the top of the hill there was like hundreds and thousands of Native Americans. And Lone Ranger turns to Tonto and says, "Well, what are we going to do now?" And Tonto looks at the Lone Ranger and goes, "What do you mean, we, white man?" So maybe that's why he was called a Lone Ranger, because actually he was all alone.
Aye. All right, we'll go with that. Right, and the stairs go up or go down?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, right, okay. Tonto Hibs, what would you rather stand on, a slug or a piece of Lego?
Oh, piece of Lego.
So, Colin, you were quite quick then with the slug there. John, you thought about it a second longer and went with Lego. Show me your working, boys. Colin?
The slug's not sore. Like standing on a piece of Lego's sore.
It's banging,
Slug's
isn't
just.
it?
Aye, but it's no sore though.
Imagine
John?
that. See, I've experienced the feeling of something cold and slimy creeping between my toes first thing in the morning. I would rather take the pain than suffer that again.
What was it?
Aye, can you know?
It was when I was a teenager and I went downstairs first thing in the morning and I went for a pee in the downstairs toilet and stepped in a dog's shite. Barefoot.
That would be something that would be better if it went hard when you touched it.
Mm.
Do you know, that's...
Aye, a frightened jobby. Aye, give me that every day.
Yeah, that would be better. I'd rather have the Lego that short term. I think there's slugs in that are minging, so I wouldn't want to stand on one of them. It was all like I'm heavy as well. That would be fucking messy.
You've probably seen it as well, like when you're out and about. The slug or the snail that's been got at by a bird, and you see all its insides. Nah, fuck that. Give me the pain.
You ever stood on a snail and heard it crunch?
Yep, all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like a right bastard, and I had no idea. Like it was not premeditated at all.
Yeah, that's an accidental thing. Like you wouldn't do it on purpose. We just trashing its home.
It must do it all the time. He says he does it all the time. Must be on purpose.
Maybe he's just got massive feet and is clumsy as fuck.
That's got a lot to do with it.
Guinness 2022 said, do animal rights activists ever buy fly spray? And if so, at what animal do these rights actually kick in? Asking for fruit flies.
I don't think they would. No chance.
Do you think they would still go fuck off like that? When a fly comes in past them, they fuck off. Like, do you know what you do when a fly's bugging you? You just try to swat it away.
I don't think they can. I don't think they could do that. They probably like do that, you know, like that thing some like famous folk do when they're about to cry and that.
A gentle blow.
Aye, like they do.
Go away, fly. It's an interesting point though. What animal sort of is like the lowest in the food chain to earn rights?
It's got to be the midgie. That's the lowest. Like they don't deserve fuck all.
Midges are wee cunts.
Aye. So is it just midges or insects in general? Like if you.
But some insects have a purpose as well, don't they? I don't know what midge's purpose is.
Well, I was going to say that midge's purpose is to annoy you, to irritate you, to bite you, and that's going to be like a category of they can die. Anything that falls within that category, like wasps, I think should go in that category.
I think midges are thinking about what's the pettiest thing they could do. It's going to bite and cuts it for naked reason. All right, we'll move on. Guinness 2022 again said, on the klaxon theme, are any shortbangers old enough to remember the nasally PA system saying, all red bands, please leave the pool now? It was the height of rebellion, ignoring these messages at Stirling swimming pool by spurious excuses such like, I was underwater at the time.
That's right. The Commie Pool used to have that.
Aye.
Yes, I'm old enough. Yes.
And you definitely would have ignored that at some point as well, eh? Like you just kind of keep going until you got kicked out. You'd have to stay in the pool, well, wouldn't you? Like if you got out.
Trying not let so they could see your band. Aye.
Did any of you guys ever steal the bands, like rather than hand them back, so that when it came to it, you could just go back to the locker room, change your band back in the pool?
Nah. Never done that. Good idea though.
Aye.
Did you not get a deposit back when you handed it back in? No.
You did. You got money back when you handed it in, I'm sure.
So you could get British Irish for your chip roll and that.
Aye.
Oh, this wasn't the Commie Pool. I'm just thinking about Livingston, where they've actually still got that mechanism in place of the different coloured bands.
Is there a market for us just to sell coloured bands for folk who want to dodge out the swimming pool a bit longer than they're allowed to?
Let's brand them.
They put the Longbangers name on.
No, I just unbranded, just a generic rubber band for swimming.
Like, do you think there's a catalogue or a store or something online out there that just caters for all these like swimming pool things? Like, and what other walk of life are you buying those bands? Like, unless you're Lance Armstrong.
Some leisure centre place.
Leisurecentre.com.
It wasn't just a band though, was it? It was a key holder as well, because it held your locker key.
Yeah. That was.
Somebody definitely spotted a very niche gap in the market there, eh?
Did they used to have a hang on the wall as well, like to say green bands or whatever colour it was to come out? Was that? Am I imagining that like a scoreboard sort of style thing that would say?
They have that at Perth. I think Perth Pool's shut now. Somebody told me the other day. Perth Pool was always a decent one to go to as well. But
were they the ones that had like the bit of the pool that went outside? They have was it the full moon and the half moon flumes?
Aye.
Oh, that's a loss.
Aye, decent pool.
They still do that. Actually, on the question that are you old enough to remember, they still do it in the pool at Dunbar. You still get called out in the colour of your band.
Yeah.
Aye, if you take the kids down there. That was only a year and a half ago since I've been down there with them, and you still get a coloured band and get shouted out for it.
Okay, what's interesting though, like this goes back to what we were saying earlier about when you were young and you would fucking no think twice about exercising that. When you were that age, you would go, oh, fuck, my band's up, and you would try to stay in the pool longer. Now you're going, especially if you're with the kids,
When's
you're
my
like,
band up?
I could shout it now. that must be an hour. That must be an hour. Right, T.G. Willis, John said, if the Navy wore green uniforms, would bottle green be called navy green and dark blue be bottle blue?
I'm just going to leave him to think.
Aye, you can hear the wheels whirring.
You didn't really get blue bottles, do you? Like, I mean, I know that there's like Bombay Sapphire Gin, that's like a really pale blue. But see, when you go to like
Beckham's whiskey's a dark blue, isn't it? I can't remember the name of that.
So that leads on to the question I'm going to ask you. It's like, see, the bottle recycling, you get white bottles, brown bottles, green bottles. Where do your blue bottles go?
Yeah, in a fly trap.
In a fly trap?
Aye, fucking blue bottles.
Blue bottle, fuck off.
Get the hell, John.
Through ball, we only the keeper to beat.
Aye. Well, was you saying yes to that one?
I think so. I will go navy green.
Navy green.
Aye.
Right. William, who we saw at the Archibald night call as well. Nice to see you, William.
Is that Bunsen 1978 on Twitter, is it? Is that him?
Aye. That's some fucking memory, by the way, John. Memory,
took
man.
up cycling about 18 months ago.
Do you know his
memory, man.
Do you know his email address?
No, but I wonder if I could find it.
That's one you want to know. That's.
It's not for us to need to on
no, it's
air, but
GDPR reasons we can't. But
aye, but it's a good email address.
Oh, really?
And it's one that was probably great fun at the time, but now
when he was 14 or whatever, when he made it up.
Aye.
The boy whose monitor always used to turn off in passing his email address years and years and years ago, and he would send it in on like his CVs and whatnot when he was applying for jobs, was, I'm sure it was twattybollocks@hotmail.com.
See, we talk about turning the monitor off. You talk about petty things you do. We used to work in the office. Occasionally, just take somebody's chair away. No, just when they're about to sit down. You know, just like if they weren't at their desk for long enough, you just go, "I should take the chair. Just move it away."
Yeah.
And then they come back and they're like, "Fuck's my chair."
You ever done the one? Did you ever assume you worked beside people that would have their name on the back of the chair with a bit of paper? Because it was a special chair or something. So they would definitely get their chair moved when they were away for their lunch.
There was so we all worked in the same office, so you'll know that the company had like the big plastic pint tumblers. So folk always used to go downstairs and get like come back upstairs with trays of water and that.
Yeah.
So there was there'd been a summer temp had been in, and when they'd left, they'd left a load of stuff in their pedestal. And one of the things that they'd left was a supply of tampons. So, of course, someone's come up the stairs with a tray of water, gone to the toilet, like left their desk or whatever. And, of course, I've just gone over and stuck a fucking tampon in it for them coming back. It's hilarious now, but it was probably a really, really shite part at the time. But it also reminded me that when the boy got wise to me coming over to turn his monitor off by the power button, like he turned his monitor away, so it made it a wee bit more difficult for me to reach round. I just pull the power lead at the back.
What a dickhead. I'm glad I didn't work beside you, John.
Oh, I was a fucking riot at that point.
These, because you get the ice as well, right? So you go down, get your ice and your water, bring it back up. Occasionally, if I'd got one first thing in the morning and I'd been away from my desk, as kind of quite frequent. You come back up, I would ask the lass that sat next was somebody been at my drink. She went, "How? Fucking somebody's showed my ice." I don't think she ever kind of clocked whether I was being serious or not. Anyway, right. Two accountants. This is William. Two accountants at the old work were having an affair. Do you think they shouted sums at each other during the sexy time to heighten the experience?
Give me your long division, you cunt.
I'm going to say yes. Why no?
I was thinking, did they do sums accountants? It's more like
It's tax and stuff, isn't it?
balance and stuff and profit and loss. I suppose they must be adding stuff.
Aye, add and subtract
stuff
mostly,
up.
innit?
Yeah. It's dead easy when you say it like that. Aye.
That's it. Like, they go on about it like it's fucking difficult, but it's just added and taken away. Aye.
It's not even the hard maths.
Excel does it for you now, anyway. Like,
Aye, if you've got a calculator, does that mean that you're part qualified?
aye. Leon said, when was the last time you used the phrase small rump in a conversation?
Never.
Never.
I'm 39 and I'm going to be 40 this year. So just for argument's sake, I'm going to say I am 40 years old. And never in my 40 years on this earth have I ever used those two words adjacent to one another.
No.
Ever.
Because if you were ordering a rump, you wouldn't ask for the small one, would you?
Would you ask for a big rump, though? That sounds like... Or would you say a rump?
Aye, well, you say a rump steak at the chippy. I've not had one
Yeah.
for ages, actually. They still get them in the chippy.
Good.
Never seen.
I've never got one in the chippy.
No, it's like a big hamburger, but it tastes a wee bit different from a hamburger, but it's like a big
Arse.
the big hamburger, really, aye.
I like how John avoided saying
They still do that.
small rump as well when he was making the point about having never uttered the phrase. He didn't say, I've never in my 40 years said small rump. I've never in my 40 years used those two words together.
Yeah. So you still
Which
never
two
say
words were they, John?
The two that Leon described.
That was Rangers. They described a section of their support as
Aye.
a small rump.
It's one of their supporters club things.
Amazing.
They come up with like they see for statements, for laughability, for even for educational purposes. Like remember when they came out with, I can't remember what the context was, but it was concomitant. You're like, is that even a word?
It was when
Aberdeen
Derek
were
McInnes
involved,
knocked them back. Aye.
Yeah.
What was it? Something about it's not concomitant with. I think it's like associated with like the values of Rangers or Aberdeen or something. I forget the exact context, but like for me at least, it's been educational because I'd never heard of that word before, and I've never used it in a sentence since.
Rangers have been quite good with their fans recently. So you had obviously them get called a small rump by the club, but you noticed Alan McGregor at the weekend as well also called them fucking arseholes very clearly as well, which is probably the first time we've agreed with him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Aye.
He was accurate, which nobody will be surprised at. So
I think Alan McGregor's got like a very limited range of emotion. It's just irritated and well, it's on a scale of irritated to really fucking angry and everything in between.
By the way, there's a diary we could get hold of.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
It would just be like notepad style paper with big slashes of red crayon up and doing it. Fuck!
Woke up, bastard!
It'd definitely be one of them. It would just be like dead bodies and that, drew dead bodies and that, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like one of them that goes straight to the psychologist.
Yep.
See this fucking diary.
Just a page coloured in black.
Dead cats and dead dogs. And...
Aye.
Right. Stuart asked, would you rather run a marathon on the flat or cycle up a mountain?
Is the mountain, is it 26 miles up the way? Or is it just like
Just a
one off
mountain.
hill? I'll just... I couldn't run a marathon. I'm not convinced I could cycle up a fucking mountain either. But see, because I'm just thinking I'd take the shorter one, like the shorter time scale one, which would probably be the cycling one. But it's fucking horrible when you try to climb a hill on a bike and you're just not going anywhere.
The worst thing with it, right, is, and maybe I've just done it wrong, when you're cycling up a hill, you have to put your bike into like a really low gear.
Yeah.
And so your feet go like fucking mad because it's easy to pedal, but like you say, you didn't go anywhere. So a mountain's worth of that. I would do the marathon every day. Well, couldn't do it every day of the week. I'd do it once.
Once a week, fucking never run again.
I'd do it once, but I would choose that every time over the mountain. When they want that, just how fast you fucking like, it'd be like being on a really shit exercise bike. You wouldn't really be travelling anywhere. Your legs would be going
The
fast.
feet
as
aren't
fuck.
going that fast though, because when you're on the actual slope, they're just in a low gear, so you can actually fucking move it.
So you can move it, yeah.
So your feet are still going slow, even though you're in like a low gear, and you just don't even feel like you're moving. But I think it would still be over quicker than the running.
Better fun coming down, I suppose. Like once you've done the half it and go to the top, coming down would be decent.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I'm going to take the bike.
I'm running. John?
And John, you've got the casting vote.
I'm going to go for the bike. I've run a half marathon and I've climbed a couple of mountains. And I reckon a bike up a mountain's far preferable to the marathon.
Okay. Ray said, why do Marvel movies, he tagged us in this one, it was actually somebody called We. Why do Marvel movies need 3 hours to accomplish what the Powerpuff Girls did in 11 minutes?
Aye, they need more than 3 hours as well, because you've got to sit at the end of one and wait till all the fucking titles go up
for the
at
bit
last.
at the end.
Then they stick the wee bit on the end.
Then you get the associated titles. So like the Avengers, for example, where they build up to something like Endgame, and then you think, well, that's it. Like that's all the Marvel I will ever need to watch. And then they start bringing out other ones, and you're like, fuck, when is this going to end? And I know that I'm going to go and watch them.
Going back to what we were saying about having aches and pains, a Marvel film is painful for me. Like my arse at the bottom of my back gets sore. By the end of it, I'm like fucking uncomfortable to the point where I wish I hadn't sat down to watch this. I'd rather have been out moving than sat in that position for that fucking long.
Would you rather
films that long
run a marathon or watch a Marvel film? Like say Captain America. So there was 3 Captain America films that they showed back to back at the cinemas in advance of like a new one coming out. So run a marathon or watch all of them back to back in the cinema.
Oh, I'm definitely taking the movies, like because you have to move.
If you could get up in between them, like if you could get up in between them and go to the toilet and that, because that's the other problem with your filming a bladder like mine, is in the last 3 hours I'm going to have to fucking piss at some point. Because again, same with the road trip, is I know I'll probably need the toilet here, so more or less as soon as I sit down, the bladder goes, you need a piss. I just fucking went. Just go to the care, you just went, telling you need a piss again. Then you had it in for as long as you can, hope there's a quiet bit in the film. Which they should put in, if they're having a film that long, and they should signal it. Do you know how they used to get when there was an advert coming up on the TV, you get to be black and white squares in the top right corner of your TV? They should do just like a wee urinal will pop up, and then everything will go, brilliant. Run to the bog, fish, come back, and then you get back just in time for the good bit of film.
Do you remember when at the cinema they used to have the interval where the folk would come out with ice cream?
Aye.
It was like the half-time break of the film.
Aye.
What happened to that?
For an ice cream. Folk wouldn't stop interrupting the film.
Folk pile in at the start with all their shite anyway.
Aye.
There's no way on that though. The 3 films back to back. Do you think they would put trailers on? Because that's fucking messing around part of go to cinema. But on top of that, there's no way I would be able to stay awake that long, no matter how good the film was. What was that? It would be 8.5, 9 hours worth of movie. No danger. No danger of man sleeping for at least 2 hours of that.
I'm with you. Aye, I'd struggle with that. Probably the marathon would be a better option than that. Now I've started thinking about it. Okay. Next question. Charlie Banks. So that's no question. Or a statement of fact. It's just his name, Charlie.
Well, he does. But
So
he
it could
does
be a
back.
Charlie
It
Banks.
could be a true or false. Charlie Banks.
Who would?
True or is it false?
Jinkies, maybe. Jinkies on that West man.
Oh,
Or
Charlie.
Santander.
I think he's a Bank of Scotland guy, like, or TSB maybe even.
I would go. I guess Charlie would be Bank of Scotland. He looks.
He looks a Bank of Scotland guy to me.
Aye,
Yeah.
that's it. Right, Charlie's asking, why do you think Jar Jar Binks gets such a hard time from Star Wars fans? I personally think he's misunderstood.
I think you're the one to answer this, Matt. You're the Star Wars guy.
He's a shit character. Like, he was put in, I think, to sell toys, which is, you know, what Star Wars do now with some of the characters. Like, we could sell this as a toy, but he's a shit character. He's actually, who was I talking about it? Well, my mum and dad were having this conversation about TV shows and how sometimes they ruin it by doing something that, even though you suspend your disbelief to watch it anyway, they do something that's so fucking ridiculous you would go, fuck off, that wouldn't happen. Jar Jar Binks' whole character and how he gets involved in that film, you go, the Jedi's wouldn't fucking pal about him. They'd go, fuck off. They wouldn't say fuck off because they're polite than that.
It's a kids' film.
It's a kids' film. But they would definitely be thinking it, and they wouldn't be going, come and travel with us and kick about with us and be a guide for us. Spoiler alert, right, for anybody that's not seen Phantom Menace. It just wouldn't fucking happen, and then later on he ends up in like a sort of semi-powerful fucking job, and you're going, he's a fucking idiot. Nobody would do that. You would go, he should have been in the film for 5 minutes. They went, he's a prick. That's it, and then he's never in the film again, and nobody would have complained about it.
What's Charlie's question? Why do Star Wars fans not like Jar Jar Binks?
Why does he get such a hard time?
I think Matthew's answered that.
He's an annoying wee bastard like that. There's just
What's PG for fuck off? Like in a PG film, like it's no go away. Like there must be an example of it.
They used to say "forget you," didn't they? Mind when you used to watch Die Hard when you were wee and they put it on ITV and dubbed it? It'd be "forget you, you mother forgetter." So forget off, I suppose they would. Yippee-ki-yay, mother forgetter. Oh no, it was Kimasabi. They said, was it Yippee-ki-yay, Kimasabi? They dubbed it.
Yeah.
If you remember that. When did they stop dubbing films? Like taking the swearing away? Did they just go fuck it? Everybody's swearing anyway. They'll just keep the swearing in.
But even songs now on the radio, the swear words in a lot of songs now, so they just skip the word.
Aye.
Yeah.
It's not a beat or anything. They just skip it.
Just mute it. Okay, right. Anyway, which fast food establishment does the best chips? Also for Charlie.
I think Burger King personally, but I must admit I've not been around many fast food places.
Well, if you're going that way, Five Guys chips are good.
See, I've not been to Five Guys yet, so
Aye.
can't say.
I was thinking, my initial thought was the Chippy up the road for me. Do the best chips. Like there's 3 Chippies in the town, but there's one of them that's chips are excellent.
What do you think
better than
makes a good chippy chip?
I was going to say,
Or
Italian
what's your preference?
but I didn't care if that was.
What were you going to say?
An Italian man.
Usually is.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's.
I don't mean to be racist or anything, but you know, you go to Chippy. How many Chippies are owned by Italian or Italian descent families, and they make good Chippies? So.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, actually. There's two near me. One of them's called the Mary Blue, and there's some Italian guys that run that. And there's a place nearby that's called La Capana that could be French or it could be Italian.
Is it that or less?
You either get chips in there, then you get frites or frites. How do you say it?
Frites. What should the frites be? Open up, fucking boo, you bastard! All right. I like your Five Guys chips. If you're ruling out Chippies, because Chippies are the best chips, aren't they? But if you were ruling out Chippies, I'd probably Five Guys.
Yeah, even their plain chips are good. And you get the ones, is it Cajun or something? Or the spicy ones anyway. They're good.
Aye. The
Nando's
peri
do a
peri.
good peri peri fry.
Yeah. like that.
But you can buy that peri salt for it, eh? You can buy the salt and just make your own. Like
Nando's isn't fast food really, though, is it? It's like a sort of halfway house. It's no proper restaurant, but it's no. It's not a fast food takeaway place either.
Well, as you said about McDonald's, it's no fast food; it's fast service.
Fast service, yeah. Well, Nando's is neither of those things.
Neither. So
Nando's, you have to fucking go up to the till. They don't even come and take your order. Things that annoy me, eh? Like fucking, you just make loads of money. Go and just fucking serve me at my table. Then we're going to stand and order and try to remember what my fucking table or remember what my order is. Which, when you've got a memory like mine, is quite fucking difficult. You pick it off the menu. Every time I get down at the counter, I go, "Fuck, did I want it again?"
can you not do it on your phone now?
Oh, you might be able to do it on your phone now. If they do, I take that all back. If you don't, anywhere that lets you order on the phone is a big fucking tick for me. Apart from Witherspoons, because they're cunts.
Oh, or the guy is.
Yeah, they're just. All right. If you had to use VAR for something other than what it's used for, what would you use it for?
Other than what it's used for.
for instances of road rage, or just to be able to capture a moment, like a wee segment of footage of people on a road, and be able to transport everything from take a wee snip of that road, of that given moment, and everyone involved, and pull it off to the side and say, "This is why I beeped my horn and called you a wanker."
Use the evidence.
It'd be good to use it for arguments, particularly, let's say, with your wife, that when you get something cast at you and you say, "That's not what I said," or "That's not what I meant," and you could just say, "Well, let's watch it back." I'd say, "See, I never said it. Like, it's taken it the wrong way."
Teenagers are like that, but they gaslight you all the time when they say, "Didn't they say that? That never happened."
Yeah.
Well, that's 100% what I would use it for.
Yeah.
Aye. Okay, Liam said, "Who would you play in a film about their life?"
See, I think this is a really interesting question, because normally the question's the other way around. So who would you have play you in a film of your life?
I knew what you meant when you said other way around.
I got that.
Aye, no, I know. So I had to articulate.
Is that mansplaining? They call that mansplaining.
Mansplaining.
Again, I'm sitting here with my legs apart as well, so
mansplaining, John, is when a guy tells you what something means.
Just for all the women out there, eh, John? Just so they understood the question.
Aye.
Is that what you? David Gray. I'd like to play David Gray, just to go through that, just like the footballer, not the singer.
I'd go with Mr. T. That's who I would like to play in a film about his life.
Aye.
I reckon I'd be pretty convincing. Ain't getting on no plane like that.
You've got to be Hannibal.
Why? Why can I not be BA, Colin? Why can I not be BA?
I don't know.
Hannibal's a shout.
BA, obviously named after the airline as well, which is a little known fact about him, which is ironic because he fucking hated flying. But
it's really weird, that, eh?
It is fucking mental. John, you look like you're posing for a catalogue there.
Remind me of the question: who would we play in a film about their life?
Yes, that's it.
Shane Warne.
Right. Okay, and then Liam's other question was, what's the most embarrassing post you've seen? Did you answer, Colin? You did, right? David Gray. What's the most embarrassing post you've seen on social media? Not necessarily your post, but was there another one where you both of them accidentally tweeted his cock?
Apparently, I never saw that, but I've heard about it before. Did Gordon mentioned it the other week as well, eh?
He did.
We were talking about it.
I saw one the other day. Sorry.
Who was it Googled? It was like they meant to put the search Google for like a porn, but they tweeted it instead of putting it in the Google search. Fuck knows how you do that, by the way. But
and was there no somebody that tweeted their own name? Was that Ed Balls or somebody?
Ed Balls Day, yeah.
Tweeted because he was obviously searching his own name on Twitter and he stuck it in as a tweet. He's Sweet Ed balls.
I'm just going to tweet Ed balls. I'm going to do that right now. And what will happen is somebody will see it and they'll go, fuck, the tweet Ed
And they'll
balls
send
for,
you the original.
and then they'll listen to this.
I'm sure Ed Balls Day is soon. Like, I'm sure it's April or May.
Well, that
So
Ed
that's
balls.
quite embarrassing. There was one the other day. I suppose it's not
April
as embarrassing as
28th.
that. Is it?
Aye.
But it was years ago, years and years ago, didn't it? But there was one the other day. It was obviously somebody trying to do a bit of virtue signalling or whatever. Like they were doing the, I think it was a Telegraph journalist or something, or a paper, a Mail on Sunday or something, and he had a flight booked to go to the Scotland game maybe on Thursday this week, and he'd contacted, I don't know, EasyJet or whoever it was to cancel his flight and say, give the money to charity, I can't go anymore, they've changed the football fixture, and EasyJet went, fucking plane's still flying, not getting your money back. So he tweeted that as if to say, look at these cunts, no give my money back, I was just giving it to charity, and they're going, everybody in the replies that I saw in the first 15 or so went, what the fuck's wrong with you? Daft cunt, like the plane's still flying. You're asking a business to give their money to charity because you're fucking you're not going anywhere. Like, it doesn't work like that. That was quite embarrassing.
Yep. Okay. Ian Borge said, I'm heading to Hawaii tomorrow. What odds are you offering that I might get Pele, the volcano god, to sign for Hibs ladies?
Hawaii, did they say?
Hawaii, aye. I'm heading to Hawaii tomorrow. What odds are you offering that I might get Pele, the volcano god, to sign for Hibs ladies? I don't care anything about this question.
I'm the same. Is there a female footballer called Pele?
Well, there was a famous, well, at least well-known male footballer called Pele.
Aye.
Do you think he was named after the volcano, or do you think the volcano was named after the footballer because he was that good?
Oh, hang on.
Are you Googling it, John?
I am. Some say Pele was born in Tahiti to the fertility goddess Haumea, but was forced to flee to Hawaii in a great canoe after seducing the husband of her older sister, the goddess of the sea. At different islands in Hawaii, Pele used her stick to dig out fire pits, forging the archipelago's magnificent volcanic craters. There you go.
Still wouldn't qualify for the women's team, though.
No.
Pele's a slavering cunt, eh? Like, is that like...
Pele is, aye. What if the volcano declared itself a woman?
But it's still not a person.
What if it declared itself a person?
Wouldn't be learn fast enough to get in the women's team.
So we said no to this question then.
Aye, the answer's no.
A
million to one.
Aye.
A million. Is that?
Oh, that's right, because it's what odds. Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Worth a fiver for interest.
Just in case. Right, next question. Mel Clements, does everyone get a feeling of power and superiority when they find a pen that is a good writer with really nice ink?
I do like a nice pen and I like a new pad and that, like, but I think I feel superior. I genuinely feel superior anyway, so I don't have a new pen.
That just complements
enhances that. Nah.
So are you guys both right-handed?
Yeah.
So I'm a lefty, and I guess I'm a wee bit cat-handed anyway. And I don't know, I do definitely feel something when I get a good pen, like something that just writes smoothly.
I take it.
Probably very, very, very few pens. I'm like,
you only like pens that have got like a sort of felt tip, not a felt tip pen, but you know, like the ones that have got that sort of. They're not
anything,
like a normal biro, you know, like they've got a sort of gel.
Aye, anything that's got the capacity to smudge, aye, that's in the bin.
Are the best pens the ones with the 4 colours? You can click them.
I'm not a big fan of them.
What about the big round gin that had like about 8 colours or something in it?
That was too big for limit. The 4 is a classic one. I don't know if you've.
Are you used to holding something smaller in your hand? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. My tiny penis, John.
Is that you mansplaining again?
Yeah. That doesn't come in 4 different colours, so
Just pink.
just 3.
Like
Just
your
3.
purple.
Mel also asked, why do they call 3-door cars a 4-door? The boot is a 4th door when you can't legally sit beside the 4th door.
So, right, we had a discussion the other week there about doors and windows, right? And I asked the wife about it, and she
Doors
said,
and wheels.
sorry, doors and wheels. And we got talking about things like cars, and we were talking about like 3-door cars and 5-door cars. And she said, and we got talking about like hinges, like what would constitute like an entryway to a house. And we hit upon the idea that arguably a window is actually a door, because you could, like, by that definition, you could enter the house through the window.
Yeah.
But you would never, like, no one, I think, ordinarily would go into a car through the boot unless it's like Christmas time and it's like 8 years trying to get in a 5-seater or whatever. You're trying to take someone home.
We right, I'll tell a story about this, right? So do you remember was it Longbangers, Shortbangers was telling you a story about the guy who smelled?
Yep.
At work, right? So we used to work a 12-8 shift, right? And if you worked at the Gale in the 90s, early 2000s, there was a pub called the Ritz, right? And the Ritz used to, for a while, we'd put on a bus back into town on a Friday night. So you finish work, go to the Ritz, drink till it was like 11 o'clock or something like that, and then you get on the bus and you go into town. But they stopped doing the bus for a while, or after a while they stopped doing the bus. And there was a night where we'd sort of decided, short notice, we'll go out right after work, right? And one of the boys had a car, so I'll drive. I think there was 5 of us that were gone, or 6 of us anyway. The boy who smelled was like, "Are you just going out?" And we're like, "Nah, probably just going to have a quiet one. We might go for one in the Ritz, but we're probably just going home." Right? Not a shan thing to do, but nobody really wanted to fucking hang out with him, to be brutally honest, right? So we go to the Ritz, and after it, we're piling into this boy's car, and there's no enough room for everybody because the boy turned up. He clocked us in the Ritz. He's like, "I'll just come with you," and then we're like, "Oh, we're sort of going to go into town, right?" How did that happen? Basically, right, there was that many of us, and when he had turned up, there was somebody in the boot, right? So this impromptu night out, he didn't realise there was somebody in the boot until we stopped in town and everybody was getting out. And there's a boy called Dale. Can let him out, and the boy, the smelly boy's like, "Who was going out?" And there's a fucking, not just a carload, but a carload to the point where somebody's fucking stuffed in the boot. It was like awkward as hell, and they were like, it was actually a fucking big night out that we were going on, but it was just funny, kind of funny moment where you're having like, who's going to open the boot and let Dale out? And come with them without him noticing. Right.
What was the question again?
Something about doors and windows, isn't
Something about doors.
Aye.
15.
Aye, no, like, why do they call cars that? Like, they're no 3 doors, they're no 5 doors.
It's only if it's a hatchback. If it's got a boot, it doesn't count as a door. It's a hatchback. The window's
also part of the boot.
Aye.
It's just so they can sell it like as a it seems better if you've got a 5 door than a 4 door, doesn't it? You feel like you're getting more value.
Like, does it just differentiate if it's a hatchback or no? Is that not what it does?
I really don't know.
Text in 80295 and Mel also asked why.
So hang on, so like say the saloon, like say like a Vauxhall Insignia, that's not a hatchback.
Many doors.
So they wouldn't. Is it 4? Would they say that that's 4 or 5?
I'm asking you. Has it got a boot or no?
I don't know. You're throwing out terms like hatchback. I've got no idea. I thought you were the Jeremy Clarkson of Longbangers.
It's a fucking boot, right? It just opens up, and doesn't it? A hatchback's a thing with a fucking glass on it. The whole fucking thing comes off.
The hatchback was to be cut at Notre Dame, was it?
A boot's a fucking boot.
Get lost in the Lego ringing the bells.
Oh, fucking hell. How do you describe it to a fucking dose cunt like this? How do you mansplain something like this? Something that fucking simple.
But are boots no boots in all cars? Like, or like the back door to the boot?
Some boots didn't have the window attached to it, so if it's just like a boot that opens like the wee boxy bit, door. Right? But if it's the whole bit, so the whole window comes up, that's your like 5th door. But if it's only the
Aye.
boot that pops up, like on a saloon,
Right, okay.
that's-
Oh,
Yeah,
wait. I think I know
that'd
what
be
you
a
mean.
4-door car.
Aye.
yeah. Okay. Mel said, "Why don't we serve more than ice cream and cones?"
Never really thought about it. What else could you put in it like?
Wait, think about it. You could chips.
Chips.
You used to get a poke of chips, eh?
The chips, huh? When did they stop doing chips in newspaper?
Probably for
And why?
health reasons. Somebody probably would have went, "All right, it's going onto your food."
I'm allergic
Aye.
to ink.
The ink, aye. But see, as well as that, I got asked, Carol, my wife, asked this the other day. Does anybody still ask? Did anybody go into a chippy and say, just leave them open? Does that happen? I can't remember the last time I seen anybody saying that.
No, I can't mind that.
Maybe-
You used to get chip fans as well, eh? Like, how
Aye.
did that pass health and
Mm.
safety? But we
Aye.
used to have the Whipper when I was wee. I remember the chips were fucking brilliant, but they came in a cone, like a poke of chips.
Uh-huh.
Like
rather than
boiling
a
hot
bag.
oil like
Aye.
flying down the motorway at 50 mile
Driving
an hour.
about. I got a free ice cream cone. So there's one of these, you know how like they're it's like standalone ice cream shops now. They're quite popular, like dessert shops, and they all different sweets. Took Jess in, so she and Sophie wanted to have Caramac and Kinder, right, was what they wanted on their cones. They both wanted the same. So went in and asked for it, gave Jess the cone when the woman's served it. She's going to make the second one. Puts the Caramac in, goes with the second scoop, raspberry ripple. Says, well, it was Kinder, no raspberry ripple. And she went, oh, I've done raspberry ripple on that one. Just keep that one, have that one for free. So I wasn't going to have a cone, but I ended up having a raspberry ripple with Caramac ice cream cone. It was fucking lovely too.
I just asked, can I hear one of your dogs snoring?
Fine.
Aye, you can.
I thought it was somebody's belly. I thought somebody was hungry.
No. Right, okay. Next question comes from Brunswick Bill. Says, right, Matty, for me, have you had any embarrassing experiences due to an inability to remember names? I once organised a big meeting chaired by my boss. I had the names of the participants and I introed them, but couldn't remember my boss's name who had worked for 10 years. He was raging. I definitely, I'm bad for when you bump into somebody and you can't remember your name. But the worst thing is if you are with somebody and you feel like you should be doing an introduction.
Yeah.
And that is fucking real awkward because you want to say to them like, oh, okay, this is Dave, this is Jimmy. But you can't because you're going, I can't remember your fucking name. I did it a lot.
I'm pretty bad
so
for that as well.
I to the point where if I see somebody that I recognise but can't remember the name, I'll try to avoid them rather than get into that situation.
Aye, it's awkward when you think I should be introducing this person. I cannot fucking for the life of me. But I might be close to knowing their name, but I sometimes just have to guess it. Like no guess, but I think it's John. I think his name's John, but it could be Jimmy. You know, and it's like I'm going for John. Just got to call him fucking John.
It's got to be more common than like it. I don't think it's a social faux pas. It's like it's not like you're being ignorant. Like sometimes, like you just find yourself in situations where your mind takes a blank, and it will happen to every single one of us. But for whatever reason, every single one of us think, "Fuck, I can't remember his name. I'm a dick."
Yeah. I read an article, and it was a celebrity. It might have been Rylan, an article about Rylan. You know, when he had these mental health problems not long ago. But anyway, he was talking about. I thought if it was him, somebody gave him a tip once. Don't ever, when you meet somebody, don't go, oh, it's nice to meet you, because you might have already met them. Just say, how are you? Or
How you doing?
Yeah, rather than nice to meet you. Because it makes met you last fucking month of that fucking, you know. So that's a wee tip for you there. If
There
you're
was a boy Aegon who went and got another job within Aegon, and his leaving night we were at it was Phillies by that point. And at the end of the night we said, "Can you know Simon's good working with you?" And he said, "Nice to meet you." But, nice. We've worked together for fucking ages. Still saying to him now, if we see him, it's like every goes, "Nice to meet you, Simon." Okay, right. Ian Tully said, "Please coin a new phrase or superlative to rid us of the tired huge massive games coming up, what could you use?
Enormous. Humongous.
Blockbuster.
Astronomical.
Intergalactic.
An intergalactic. An Odyssey.
An Odyssey. Oh, Odyssey's great. That's a good one. I can't think.
Yeah. Big game. I suppose you do need to sort of fucking mix it up a wee bit. It's getting a bit tired.
What about, I might be using it in its wrong context, but what about a cornucopia?
Aye, go with that.
Aye.
You Google it and see what it means, and we'll go with it.
What I'd like to see is if I tried to do that with my phone in the way that it likes to fix words, what fucking variation of it would come out if I tried to use it. Alright, TG Willis, right, listen, we're in our last few questions, and we've been on fucking ages, so I'll try to rattle through a few. TG Willis said, how do you prevent dribbling down the side of a cup? How come beer doesn't stay in a glass the same? He's got a picture of a coffee cup with some coffee down the side of it. Some cups, I said that, plastic tumblers are brutal for it, but some cups are bad for just having fluid tipped in the side.
I was going to say, my initial thought was the water content, but that's pish because obviously tea and coffee's made up of Winley water as well.
Is it the cup or is it the dribbling bastard that's drinking for it?
The cup, because it doesn't happen with every cup. So if it was just a dribbling bastard, every cup would have dribbles in it.
That's right. It's weird, because you're right. The pint glass doesn't. It just goes down and sits on the coaster or whatever, but it doesn't stain the glass. Must be the coffee's obviously worse than tea as well. So it must be it's the staining rather than the. I was going to say that in the contents because it's all got water based, all these things. But
temperature maybe.
Aye.
Like changing temperatures is going down, it's maybe dries out a wee bit and then sticks.
Yeah.
Aye.
Your duck store's like my old man.
Plot twist, it's actually your old man that's lined in beside that.
What you did about that, Sus?
That's why he's changed the background.
Alright, so Jay Caldwell said, should Storm from Jeremy Vine's show be presenting the weather and or superhero channels? I don't care who that is.
I'm away to Google again.
I know who she is. She's a Scottish girl that does. She presents on that. That's her name, or a stage name or whatever. Just Scottish lassie with black hair.
Storm Huntley, her name is.
Aye, she does sound like she should be. She sounds like she is part of the weather rather than reading the weather. Eh?
She sounds like she might be getting announced like over the new year. Like, you know, when it gets a bit windy, they start coming out with the alphabetical names of the storms. Here's Storm Huntley blowing in. She's 35. She doesn't look 35.
Sorry?
I think she was destined for that job with a name like that.
I think she's changed her name. I think that's her actual name.
It'd be funny if her original name was Drizzle. Misty. Right, Matt said, given yourself, Matty and John are on Twitter and probably see most of the questions coming in, how regularly does Colin shit himself not knowing what's coming? Colin's on the Twitter.
I'm on the Twitter. But I didn't always look at the questions, though.
I retweet them and bookmark them, but I didn't pay any attention to them so that it's more fun when we do this.
Yeah, same. I try and avoid them. Like occasionally, like a couple slip through the net that I'll think are really amusing or whatever. But I know I try to stay away from them to keep it fresh when they come in.
I've only been on the Twitter for a few weeks, though. So I've not been. But I don't. I don't tend to shit myself. When I first started, I didn't like it when I first started doing it. I found it tough, but then I realised they didn't have good answers to get through it. So.
That is to say stupid things. Right, Charlie Banks said, did we ever find out why birds suddenly appear?
Is anybody else singing the song?
No.
Got through my head now. I found it was because the girl I was dating used to carry around those fat balls and birdseed, which turned out she was the woman from Home Alone 2 that kicked about in the fucking. She was in Casualty as well. I fucking regret those. I was drunk a lot of the time in those days. Good question, Charlie. Flash Goxie said, would you rather have your balls glued to your elbow and be forced to play tennis once a year, or have to wear sandpaper pants all year round?
Oh.
I think I'll go with the tennis. It's only once a year.
Aye. And you could chuck the game. You could lose quite quickly in tennis.
Is it both your arms? You go.
Your racket
Play
arm.
left-handed. Your racket.
Aye, your
I was going to
racket
say,
arm.
because you still need to serve, don't you? Like, even if you chuck the game, you still need to serve.
Serving underarm.
Just as gentle as possible.
First person to play tennis like a T-Rex.
I'm trying to think if there's any drawbacks apart from the obvious to having sandpaper underpants.
You think you'd get used to it if you wore them all the time?
Aye,
Do you think
like your balls and that would all just toughen up?
Aye, I think they would.
I like develop? Could you imagine calluses on like your arse cheeks and your sack?
Would you introduce yourself as John Calliscock if that happened?
Why'd they call you that? Well, I didn't know why I played tennis with a scrotum strapped to my elbow.
I've answered. I'm still going tennis.
Oh, you're still going tennis? I'll go with sandpaper just because, yeah, I get.
It's Ken, what the problem is. Like, see, when I think of the tennis, I think of serving, and I think of a competitive nature I think that we've all admitted to having. And I can just see like the big serve going in and like the sort of like windmill spiral effect of the scrotum on your elbow, and that's going to be unpleasant.
Ken, what I think would happen if you did like a big serve, you'd probably like your scrotum would rip open and one of your actual balls would bounce along.
Oh,
and you'd have that. Somebody would challenge it, and then you'd have the overhead kind of Hawkeye thing where it would go like that, and you'd see your testicle go boom, 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 like that, and go in or out if you were unlucky. Right, Flash Gogsy again. Watching the Scotland game build up here. Easy one. Is Chris Boyd a prick?
Oh, aye. The prick's
Yes.
prick's prick.
100%.
Yep. Fats Prickus.
But any of his catches? Sorry, did any of his catches we interviewed the other day that was maybe about 9 seconds long? It was like a wee snippet of something, and he managed to say something. Like he said the word something 3 times within a very short period of time to try and describe whatever it was he was trying to describe. I need to try and dig out. It was on a par with mattresses.
Mattresses. Right, Fats Prickus, have you ever inadvertently cock-blocked yourself? Yes.
Aye. I think every guy out there has probably managed to talk themselves out of getting a ride.
Undoubtedly. So it's not like, obviously not for many, many years, but definitely, like, can you look back and go, what the fuck was I doing there? Stupid.
Aye.
Alright, 150k in Handler Hill. Is a kangaroo's pouch just a naturally occurring bum bag?
Yes.
Say that
Yes.
again, sorry.
Is a kangaroo's pouch just a naturally occurring bum bag?
Yes.
Yes. Mikey Stewart, how much money did Mike Ashley pocket off the Currents buying tennis balls at the weekend? They must have bought them at Sports Direct. I fucking hope they did. I hope he made a load of money off them, even though he's a prick and all. Mikey Stewart again, if you could kill one person in Scottish football, who would it be and why?
Be careful here in case you ever do kill one of them. You do want to be admitting it, like here, because it would be premeditated and that.
Do we go with a disclaimer saying we're not serious about any of this and we don't advocate killing anybody? This is purely for nonsense
Just in
reasons.
case somebody turns up dead, like.
Aye, wasn't it us? But we would say that, wouldn't we?
Because we're recording
being
this. This is 22:41 on the 24th. It's just in case we need an alibi, right? This is time stamped.
Imagine Colin's dad was Matty's alibi, and he's lying there snoring.
Who would you pick though? So many to fucking choose.
Terry Butcher, no contest.
Is he still Scottish? Still classed as Scottish football? Just because he played here and that, managed here.
Aye, he's associated with it. So
What about a current person then? Like currently involved. That could be in the media as well. So you could go like Richard Gordon, and then that would take out all the old Pals Act, because I think he hires in Willie Miller and Billy Dodds and all the other useless cunts.
I'm just imagining that PLZ crowd now, like Longbangers confessed to murderous rampage against Terry Butcher.
They wouldn't credit it. They would just say
Hibs bastards want to kill Butcher.
shock rant.
I don't know.
I think they hard to wish death on anybody. Like,
aye, that's
just as a general point.
Aye, out of a job maybe.
But if you had to pick, Boyd's going to be up there, or not? I can do Davy Provan and a fucking him or Andy Walker in a heartbeat. There you go, because automatically Scottish media football coverage improves. I didn't wish them dead, but that would be either of those two would be my pick.
Bill Leckie, I didn't mind his articles actually, but I must confess, I haven't read one for about 2-3 years.
Yeah. Absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that, John. You know what he's picking somebody that's just no morals.
Would I not go Richard Gordon or something?
Well, are you taking Richard Gordon, are you? Hey, John, come on. You're
John,
going to miss your opportunity.
Xander Clark, and I'm going to go for Xander Clark because I didn't like his beard, but moreover, I didn't like the way that he struts about between plays like a WWE wrestler.
I'm disappointed my Teen Wolf nickname for him isn't caught on yet. Like, there's not enough people call him Teen Wolf for it to have stuck, and that fucking upsets me every day. Right, Fattest Pricky said, I've just had a discussion with someone about Greek burgers. None of the ingredients actually came from Greece. Am I correct to say that the burger is only Greek if it smashes the plate when it lands on it? Yep.
Aye. So what's it called, the Greek burger? So it's a Greek burger, but it's got no Greek ingredients.
No Greek ingredients, aye.
Why is it? Does he know why it's called that?
Is there maybe like a bit of tzatziki that goes with it or something? Is that maybe what makes it Greek?
I don't know what Greek burger is.
Maybe it sets fire to American flags when Hibs go to play them in Athens.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Bass72 said, when you've finished peeing, how many shakes does it become self-abuse? Or after how many shakes does it become self-abuse?
It's a really good question.
Was it no? Did there not used to be 3? That used to be the rule, wasn't it? No.
Was it like more than 2 or more than 3 shakes and you're playing with yourself?
Aye.
More than 3 is a wank.
But is it?
Nah, of course it's not. Of course it's not. Although, how many would you feel comfortable doing at a public urinal? Do you know, if you were trying to get the drips off it? If you were going to like 5, 6, 7, 8, and you start to think somebody's going to notice this.
So I think this comes back to like the overhand underhand technique, doesn't it? Like, because there's some folk out there that with the overhand technique that does look like they're having a wank when they're squeezing it out, but then there's other folk that just get like a wee jiggle. The wee jiggle, I think you can have as many as you want. That's a free for all.
The overhand technique's mad, eh?
But it's like the folk who lean. I'm sure we mentioned that lean against the wall.
That's even more mental.
I didn't get why. Who showed them how to do that?
And the one the other week, I tell you, I mentioned again the cup final, the boy with the breaks round the knees, and I think he had a hand on the wall as well. And I'm thinking, and he must have. I don't know, but I'm assuming he was overhand or not. Just that would be the hat trick, eh?
The perfect hat trick.
Yeah.
Brian Craig said, "What's worse for you, holding in a sneeze or holding in a fart?"
The fart, I think, is worse for me.
Fart.
The sneeze goes away, doesn't it? You know, you hold it in and it goes away. But
Aye, the
fart-
sneeze sort of like repurposes itself. The fart, meanwhile, kind of go. You can like if you hold it in for long enough, you can feel it start rumbling about in your intestines.
yeah.
I had a sneeze that never materialised on a video call the other day. You know, I put myself on mute if I'm going to do like a big sniff or a cough or anything here, and so I done that.
You're on mute.
Must make I know you must make the face as well. You know, like you're about to sneeze, and then it never happened. But the other person said, "You about to sneeze, sir?" And I said, "Aye." It must have looked fucking ridiculous. Like you're having a bit of a episode, eh?
Thing is though, like see with the microphones, I've never done it, and I don't think I've had it done to me. Like I've maybe had like a wee snippet of it, but it must be like when you put the stethoscope in and you like tap it a bit too loud, like sneezing down the microphone. It has to be really, really bad. Like in terms of
I'd
impact on your ears.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's not pleasant. Although most of the headsets that you guys have got, or probably this one as well, they're noise cancelling as well. So it's if there was a really loud sound, it's meant to dull it, so you're gonna get that anyway.
I know I've got cheap headphones.
Well, if they're really cheap, you get the spray. You get the noise, but your ear gets
So that's pretty high tech, does it know?
Aye.
Sending the
right.
COVID down the line.
Last questions for Fats Prick. I said, would otters be better if they farted to propel themselves along the water surface? I think all animals would be if that's what they did.
I think I would be.
I was going to say if we could do it, it's not be brilliant.
Like my
Yeah.
front call would improve massively.
But get up that mountain on the bike a lot quicker as well. Huh?
I wonder if you could train an otter to do it. If anybody's got an otter, can we borrow it? Borrow it just for a couple hours. Just
For
bring it along.
Unspecified medical intervention.
Experiments. Aye, we'll not do it any harm, but we might teach it how to fart. Right. Okay, right, long episode. Thanks if you've stuck with us right to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back on Monday. I'll stay football this weekend, because we've got an international break. Back
Got
on
a guest on
Monday
Monday,
with-
don't we?
Oh, aye, yeah. We think we've got Matt from Hibernian Retro coming to join us on Monday. Still to be confirmed, but that's the plan as things stand. So tune in for that. It'll be a really interesting episode, we think. And we might have some other wee announcements coming up fairly soon for the Longbangers as well. In the meantime, Colin and George, thanks very much for your time tonight. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.